Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished up some recording with John Diagardi here at CBS Radio World Headquarters in Green Tree, promoting that great brand that is Rome Monument. And he has been a business leader and a man who has been involved in manufacturing and working with middle-class manufacturing employees for decades, as his father was for many years, Vince Sr. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about the election of Donald Trump, something we're going to be discussing on the Mike Pintek Show in the 2 o'clock hour with Professor of the School of Communications from Robert Morris University. He is Anthony Moretti, and of course they've got a location in Moon Township. They've got 8 locations. You can find out more at RomeMonuments.com. But let's talk a little politics. You at one time, Rome Metals, which is now ATI. You've been in the steel business on and off most of your adult life. Even though you've been a few years removed, you still kind of plug in from time to time. A lot of people believe, because of the anticipation of him becoming the 45th president, that the steel industry could make a bit of a comeback. Your thoughts?
Definitely it'll make a comeback. ATI today has narrowed its losses on its financial reports. And next year, there are members of ATI that are 100% confident that they're going to be profitable in 2017. And it's all because of Trump. His election has brought the faith that the problems that the industry has had over the years, regulation-wise, importation-wise, that dumping will go away. It's going to get solved. And they're very optimistic about 2017.
And also looking at the Trans-Pacific Partnership, doing away with that as well. You know, you're dealing with these great workers at your facilities, and they're hard-working people. You said you noticed a bit of a jump in their step the day after the election. Tell the audience that.
Well, what had happened about a week before the election, I put in their paychecks that a note that asked them to all vote. I did not tell them who to vote for, but they needed to know the issues and they needed to vote in 2016. At the same time, I made them aware that our health care benefits were going to rise 25%, and we couldn't control it without decreasing their coverage, which we refused to do. They did vote, because the next day when the election was over and I came to work, there was a buzz among all the employees about how happy they were that Trump was elected, and that they felt they had a chance, that maybe the health care benefits and costs were now going to be stabilized moving ahead. And under Clinton, it wouldn't have been.
Listen, the Diagardi family, I've known them my entire life, and they have done so much to really help Beaver County and Allegheny County and the surrounding tri-state, especially when it comes to charitable organizations. But one of the things that I think we need to understand here is why manufacturing is so important to him. And we talked about the word regulations earlier. And he told me something we were recording earlier today that I was really surprised to hear, that even in his industry, they are dealing with a lot of red tape day after day after day that may be holding them back to where he thinks he could actually be expanding. Explain that.
Well, today we've been under a build in Monaca, PA, that you've seen.
Beautiful.
A lot of times we have to tear buildings down in order to make room to build new buildings in its place. Buildings that we will use ourselves, buildings that we will try to bring in other manufacturers into Beaver County that will supplement the families in their employment. But the red tape that we go through in tearing something down and building today is terrible compared to what it used to be. It's much easier today to buy something that's already there that can be fixed rather than start from scratch. And the Monaca Commerce Center, and I didn't mention this to you, which is across the street from Rome Monument, we are closing on that facility to purchase it in about 4 months. So that's a facility that we can shape it a little better and hopefully bring in some small manufacturers to use it.
Last thing, obviously he's a Pitt and Penguin fan, getting ready today for the New Era Pinstripe Bowl game at Yankee Stadium. You can hear it on 93.7 The Fan. And yeah, the Penguins get another win last night against New Jersey. Tonight they'll be at the PPG Paints Arena taking on Carolina. But let's just go back and close on this note. A story your father told me many times, and I could still hear it if he would show up today and let him tell me it over again. Father Michael, of course, your grandfather many years ago started Rome Monument. So how did the metals industry start? And I don't think you're going to have to correct me because I'm not going to be wrong. I've heard this story enough times. The fact that one time, years ago, Crucible Steel asked your father and brothers to bring a grinder that they would use in the monument business down to kick off some of the rust on the steel that had been lying around so they could freshen it up and put it back on the market. They did so, a little hesitant. Why? Because it would probably destroy their grinder. Well, they got the price that they wanted, and believe me, nobody can negotiate. Donald Trump can learn how to negotiate from his father, okay? So they end up creating Rome Metals. And my question to you is, do you think with Donald Trump, an entrepreneur, that we will see more stories during his presidency of people like your dad and others who get an opportunity that might not be there because of the current regulations that we're dealing with in this country?
I'm going to share with you something that I heard from an engineer that we're speaking with locally, who has a new way of doing the foundations under industrial buildings that would be carrying weights up to 25 to 35 ton.
Amazing.
And this new engineering of a foundation brings with it significant savings, all right? He's got an unusual brain, okay, and the ability to think. And he wants to visit, or he hopes to visit, Donald Trump, because the wall that Donald wants to build between Mexico and America, that he's kidded about that the Mexicans are going to pay for it, he has a business idea how the wall could be paid for by itself. And it includes putting solar power on the wall that would generate electricity that would end up in time paying for the wall. And we hope he gets a chance to meet Donald, but that's one of his dreams. I think everybody today that's an American has a belief that things will be better. We're going to have to work for it, okay? It's not going to be handed to us. We're going to go back to probably the greatest generation that our country has ever experienced, which was my father's generation.
Right.
But we're going to have to tap into that mindset. But Trump can help us with that mindset to be number one again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable John Diagardi, part of Rome Monument and Rome Inspirations. Just some thoughts of the day, and I hope that you're having a great holiday. And, of course, today, the 5th day of the Festival of Lights during the Hanukkah celebration, also underway. Have a great day, everybody.